Hello. May I call upon Dr. Kedar on stage now and to start the proceedings for the next very important session about the fitness, how a orthopedic surgeon should concentrate and how they should maintain their own health. May I call upon Dr. Kedar on stage, please? Thank you.
Hello. Good evening. I know this is the last session and very few people may wait, so you can please come ahead. I'd like to call on stage Dr. Krishnamurthi and the panelists that we have today, Dr. Sidney, Dr. Santosh and Dr. Yuvraj. Dr. Murthy, can you start us off, please?
Hi. After 3 days of exhaustive academic learning, we are sitting in front of a, I wouldn't say motley, much less than motley, a very, very sparse delegate crowd for a session that really matters so much to all of us. The session is Fitness and the Orthopod. At the outset, we would really like to thank WIROC for having given us this, though, very honestly, I would say that maybe this session could have been fitted somewhere a day earlier or maybe in between the sessions in the course of the day. Having said that, what does fitness mean to each one of us? I'm addressing this question to all of us seated over here. Fitness means different notions to each one of us because fitness is entirely individualized. What do you see yourself when you say you're fit? You would want to run a sub-10 like Usain Bolt? Or you want to throw the javelin like Niraj Chopra, or want to run like PT Usha, or want to do 100 push-ups, or want to do a half marathon. Each one of us have to find our own path to fitness. Having said that, it could be either swimming, jogging, skipping, running, yoga. It could mean anything. But a lot of questions have come up to us. We will be putting up the questions on the screen, and our eminent panelists, who will be introduced by my co-chair, would be addressing each of these, having reached levels of fitness in their own unique ways. I pass the mic on to Dr. Kedar.
So on our panel, we have Dr. Sidney. He's a successful orthopedic surgeon. He's a certified nutritionist and has transformed himself in the last few years. He has started his own fitness brand, Red Fitness, with over 500 clients. He conducts multiple workshops and is affiliated with Bollywood projects as well. Can you please put up the... and play? Next on the panel, we have Dr. Santosh Yadav. He is a successful orthopedic surgeon. He is an Ironman himself, having run 150 half marathons, 52 full marathons, 4 half Ironmans at Dubai, Malaysia, Goa and Dublin, full Ironmans at Pulston, Australia, Comrades Marathon, South Africa. Decided to make a lifestyle change after a wake-up call. Sir is an inspiration to all of us. Next, we have Yuvraj Jain. He is my friend and a budding orthopedic surgeon like me. He's passionate about deadlifting and strength training in general. was not careful with his diet, developed metabolic syndromes, and is getting on the right track right now. Next up, we have a legend, a veteran orthopedic surgeon, an avid tennis player, practices yoga, an early riser, a passionate gardener as well, Dr. R. Krishnamurthi. And then there is me. I am as well a budding orthopedic surgeon. Naturally, I'm generally very skinny and I'm trying really hard to maintain and build muscle. Okay, so we can move on to the questions that were put up a few days prior to WIROC. The most liked question was the best activities for fitness that we can inculcate in our daily life. I'll hand over the mic to Dr. Sidney and he can guide us.
Thank you, Kedar, for having me here, and I'm very feeling proud to sit among eminent panelists here. So I'll answer this question in a very different way. Best activity for fitness. Now, the definition of fitness for many of us is very different. I would say the best activity is what we like the most. It can be gymming, it can be running, it can be a badminton game or maybe a tennis game, but what we love the most. But before, there is a one step before we judge our fitness goals, we need to know what we actually want for the fitness. Is it strength? Is it stamina? Is it something which we want to do for a longer time and which will make our maybe our body in a better shape, and will it improve ourselves? So first we need to know that which goal we want to achieve. So first is goal setting. Goal setting is one of the most important points I tell everyone, whoever asks me which activity should I follow, I always tell them what you want from the fitness is more important than what you'll do actually, because there is something like there is a rat race. Some clients see some movies, they want to become, like the hero, or they see a music video, they want to become a model. It is not like that. You need to first catch a fitness activity and stick for it for the entire time, and then only you will get the perfect result out of it. So, your take on that?
First question to all my colleagues. Why the orthopedic surgeon need to maintain the health and fitness? Simple answer is, we are under severe stress in our daily routine. Surgeries, OPD works. I think we are working more than 12 hours or 16 hours. So that is creating a lot of stresses on our mind and body. And because of this hectic schedule, it reflects in some kind of diseases like diabetes, hypertension, some cardiac problems, some sudden cardiac arrests. And to relieve all this stress, I feel that all my orthopedics needs to maintain their health and fitness, which is very important part. Because I've seen few of my, just Kedar told me, it was a wake-up call for me. It was a wake-up call for me because of in form of my colleague, 10 years back. My colleague suddenly, while in the gym, he never used to go to the regular gym, but suddenly started go to the gym, started on treadmill, fell down on very first week of the training and died on the spot. So what is the fitness exactly that we have to learn and understand and to maintain it? That is very, very important for us, so that we should able to maintain the balance of the body, mind and soul.
Yuvraj, your take on it?
Thank you everybody who is attending our talk. I think everyone gets the point that you can become the best orthopedic surgeon that you can be. You can make a lot of money and go next door and learn about how to spend it, luxury spending. But there's one prerequisite for all of that, as Sir pointed out, and that is you need to be alive. So for me, it's definitely about increasing longevity. Fitness is not only about how you look, how much weight you can lift, but it's also about looking at your blood reports. A lot of us can, we feel that we're normal or we carry on bad lifestyles, and it reflects 10 years later or 15 years later. One bad meal doesn't kill anyone, but it is a series of repetitive bad habits and patterns that we tend to fall into, which eventually bite us. So definitely, to answer this question, best activity for fitness, whatever you can be consistent in.
Oh, that's very nice.
When you're tired with 10 back-to-back OTs and everything, and you just want to go home and lie down and watch Netflix or something, what is that one thing which will motivate you to drag yourself up and go into it, whether it's a sport, swimming, anything, gym. So whatever you can do, that's the best. However, I would say you should incorporate something for cardiovascular endurance as well as to increase muscle mass. So, I mean, it should be a combination, but ultimately, whatever you can do.
Continuing with you only. So, you said consistency is key, correct? How would you create your own fitness routine? How would you go about with it? Since a lot of us are lost and we are starting probably as beginners. So, that would help out if you could guide us.
So, I mean, I would answer this question in the context of going to the gym and lifting heavy weights because that's what I did for about 10 years. I wasn't careful about my diet, so I ended up having high cholesterol and a lot of other issues. But to create your own fitness routine, I would say, everyone is talking about getting up in the morning and everything. I'm not a morning person at all. So sometimes I would end up going to the gym at 10:30 at night. And so the timing doesn't matter. You can work out anytime. There's 24 hours in a day. Even if it's between, your OT and OPD, it's like 3 to 5 in the evening, anything, just do it. Now, to create your own fitness routine, I would encourage, a lot of times, even when I was a teenager, for example, I used to walk into the gym, look at like the 10, 20 machines that were there, just, fool around and leave. It didn't lead to anything. So, first and foremost, I would encourage everybody to learn the compound lifts. Now, what are the compound lifts? These are basically exercises which engage a lot of muscles at the same time. So it's, less work and you're getting, not less work, but, you're getting more reward in a shorter amount of time because you're working out all your muscles together. So the compound lifts, as some of you would know, because a lot of orthos already go to the gym, so are the deadlift, bench, and squat. So I would say spend your time learning how to do these correctly, practice 10, 15 minutes a day whenever you go, and then do your other things. If you're trying to just get stronger, you should do these at the start of your workout and then train each muscle group separately. If you're trying to get more into shape, you're trying to get leaner, or you're trying to build muscle, then I would suggest you tire out all the other muscles by doing exercises which focuses on one muscle at a time, like all your isolated movements first, and do the compound lift at the end. So that's just, that's my take on the gym thing.
Dr. Santosh, this is a young man's take on it. What would you advise us?
I would advise that there is not necessary you should go to the gym daily. Any kind of activity, might be sports, walking, running, whichever is possible, start from zero. Because anything is going to help you to initiate your body. If you can manage to walk at least 5 kilometers a day, that is also beneficial to you. If you can able to manage to climb the stairs 10 times, 20 times, whatever, it is going to help your body. It is going to increase your cardiac activity and maintaining the body configuration. Also, it will develop your interest towards the body mechanism and body configuration. So that you will automatically, your body will drive towards marathon, running, and you will become a passionate runner or gym. So ultimately, you have to start from the basics. Go to the proper trainer, learn the basics of the gym, start from there. I would suggest rather start for walking or go for 5 kilometer, 3 to 5 kilometer runs twice or thrice in a week. Basically, I have started this 13 years back. I was also a lazy orthopod of 92 kg, doing nothing, but I got a wake-up call, and from that day, I started running 5 kilometers, 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers, and slowly, I keep on climbing one by one stairs from the marathons to half marathon to full marathon, and then to the new target as a half Ironman, and ultimately the full Ironman, which is a very, very difficult task, and you have to have a high endurance. You have to keep the body of you at least 17 hours endurance continuously. That's a very big distance. That means you have to swim 4 kilometers in the sea. After that, 180 kilometer cycling, and after that, 42 kilometer run. This you have to do consecutively, and you have to finish this in 17 hours. So you have to prepare your body, and for that you need a terrific 1 year preparation. Being a busy orthopedic surgeon, I could not able to get the time because of my surgeries. So I used to wake up morning at 3 o'clock, finish my everything, my nutrition, my diet, everything, pack up in my car and my cycle, and start my early morning 3:30 bike ride for 100 or 150, twice a week, once a week 150, twice a week 100 kilometer plus. That was a endurance which I achieved slowly, very, very slowly, not directly. So my body gets acclimatized very, very slowly, and I can able to achieve my dream. So similarly, all the orthopods can achieve their dreams, or at least they can maintain their fitness just by starting a gym or simple running or jogging or walking. Slowly, slowly, your body will suggest you or guide you, you should go one step ahead, and automatically you will develop interest towards the fitness.
So we continue with you only, Dr. Santosh. A person like me, like you said, young, probably lazy, I would still enjoy doing gym-related activity. But what do I do if I hate doing cardio and I still require to burn fat and do cardio? What are your tips and tricks on that?
Very nice question. There is not necessary you should go in the gym or treadmill. Treadmill doesn't give you good cardio exercises. I would rather suggest go for at least 5-kilometer walk daily, anytime in the morning or evening. That is a good exercise. If possible, jog, or if possible, 5-kilometer run. It's better. Twice or thrice in a week, which is a good cardio exercise. One step ahead, after a period of 1 month, you can go one step ahead. That means you can go for the HIIT. That means high level strength exercises, such as going for climbing stairs, 100 times climbing stairs, then climb the mountains, something like that. All the exercises, you should able to do it.
You start gradually. So you said start with 5 kilometers. I think Dr. Sidney would agree. 5 kilometers for us is a very long.
Yeah, I think so. This is something which is a good way to start your cardio if you want to kind of go into the cardio thing. But I'm more into the CrossFit and functional training. So usually I tell people to kind of, if you feel bored, because I have seen many people are kind of, they hate cardio. Let me tell you it very perfectly, because they feel that doing that same thing repeatedly, running every day and all this. But I tell them, usually it's not about cardio, it is how do you feel inside. So CrossFit is something which I would tell people to do, which is a functional training in which you can do a lot of sledgehammer, you have CrossFit, you have kettlebells, you have ropes, and there is a lot of things which we can do in that, and that can make your workouts very, very enjoyable, and you have new variations every day. We can team it up with HIIT.
Right. We
Dr.
can
Yuvraj,
take also, we have
please.
got our one of colleague, Dr. Mihir Goswami. He is also passionate marathoner and runner, and also triathlon. And he will give his idea about the cardio.
Cardio. Yeah. Starting for the beginners, obviously we want to start, you can't run a half marathon or a full marathon. So long walks is what is something which I can recommend, and anybody can do it. Doing a long walk, you can enjoy some music, or you can find different walking tracks. You can explore different slopes in your area. Obviously, if gym is a fancy, you can these newer gyms are coming up with very much new themes and new layouts, which are very something which is more palatable. So starting with the cardio, long walk is one which I think it is most practical, and then obviously getting out of 7 days, it is something like we can have divide into 3 days walk, 2 days home yoga, or even 2 days gym. So this works very well in our kind of schedule.
That is very true. Because of the busy schedule, it becomes an issue. Okay, so continuing with Dr. Santosh, since you are so experienced, how do you guide your patients as to how to go about and start their fitness journey? Because a fit patient is ideally a good patient for you as well.
Generally, depends on the age, gender, and the level of the activity. First, I categorize them in various categories. such as the class from 40 to 60 and 60 to 70 and 70 to 80. And their level of activity and depend on the diseases they have got already. So according to there, I divide them generally to the patients who are active, relatively 40 to 60, young active male or female. I advise them to walk at least 5 kilometers daily, either in morning or evening, whichever is possible to them. Those who are already a runner or athlete, I advise them to run at least 3 times in a week for 3 to 5 kilometers. It depends on their level of activity and body acclimatization. Also, yoga they should do daily. That is much better way. Meditations and most important is the diet and the nutrition. We'll talk on that in detail. So that is very important to maintain your health. This is the advice to the patients. But most important, I am here not for the patients. I am here for my orthopods. That I'm much worried about these things because I've seen with, even though I was same like that for 13 years back, like a pot belly, enjoying the life, and it attracts all the diseases, and definitely you are in trouble. You are just behind your surgeries, fame, money, everything. And in that scenario, you forget to concentrate on your body or health. So that is simultaneously, you should able to concentrate on the health, which is equally important. At least you should give a little importance to your body so that you can able to maintain the body balance and your mind balance.
So very true, very rightly said. Only a fit doctor can have good patients. So moving on, as we all know, diet is a very big chunk of being fit. So Dr. Yuvraj, can you let us know how do you go about with protein management, micronutrients? Oh, Sidney, you can start, definitely.
So Kedar, I'm very fortunate. I have done a course on nutrition and fitness. So usually what happens is that I put a poster on my clinic, like, for diet consultation. So usually the patients come and tell, sir, diet do na. Everyone feels it's so easy, like, diet, sir, ek diet milega kya? So I usually tell patients that, more than the exercise, diet is the most difficult part because it requires a lot of consistency and a lot of knowledge, and you need to have a good food-body relationship. So for me, if you go for protein, I feel so first we need to take a proper consultation with the client or with the patient, and we should know their activity levels first, what they actually want from their fitness goals. So for protein, I feel the best source is the natural sources. In vegetarians, we have paneer, soya, and the sprouts, the legumes. For non-veg, eggs and chicken. And if you want to add some supplements, I feel whey is the best supplement, which has less calories, more protein source, and it's the best workout.
So most people like me would ask you, how much protein requirement do I have? Is there any cheat to that, where you can generally get to know that this is my protein need?
So we have kind of a simple thing like how many kgs you have. So if you are a kind of a 80 kg guy, so 80 grams per that, and I add some 15 to 20 because I'm skeptical about protein absorption. Many people have this thing that 80 grams मैंने खाया तो 80 grams मिलेगा, ऐसा नहीं होता है. There are a lot of absorption problems people are facing because of their metabolic syndromes and all that. So I add up 15 to 20 grams more. That may have a little bit of constipation issues in the short period of time, but over a period of time, then they kind of cope up with that.
True. So protein is one aspect of it.
Yes.
What about the micronutrients, the liquids that you require? How do you guide them with that?
So usually I tell them to have around 3 to 4 liters of water every day. Along with 1 liter comes from food. So usually what happens, there are 2 ways of guiding them. I tell them 5 bottle पानी का separate रखने का अपने खुद के लिए, and you should see that all the 5 liters of bottle should get over in the whole period of day. So you need not calculate it that way.
Also, now all of us go to multiple hospitals. The food available over there is very difficult. Healthy, unhealthy, most of it is unhealthy.
Very practical,
ideally.
yeah.
True. So practically counting all the calories that you eat daily is very difficult.
Yeah.
Is there any cheat to that? Do you have a diet which is time-based, or a diet where you can manage better? Or generally what micronutrients you should have outside, and then what your home meal should be?
So we should have a balance of that. So I usually tell the patients or anyone who asks me that to keep a micronutrient multivitamin with you always and have it post-workout. But to kind of have a good way of having your food, keep tiffins with you. Like when you leave your house, you should have a tiffin with you and you should know your entire day how it goes.
Okay. Also, continuing on the nutrition aspect of it, Dr. Yuvraj, I believe the timing of the nutrition, the proteins that you take, and the diet that you follow also play a very key role. Can you enlighten us on that?
So obviously there's a lot of marketing which happens, you know, that some diet is famous, some things are fad, and then it goes out of vogue and something else comes in. But what we'll tell you is the general guidelines that you have to follow, because this is something that I want to say, which I want everyone to remember, is that there are no bad foods, there are only bad diets. So everything, I mean, you can eat a small piece of cake on your birthday and it's not going to kill you, but it's about what else you're doing and how you're doing it, right? So fasting, I'm not, you know, some of us are in OT in the morning, we get too tired. I would say 12 to 14 hours is good. I wouldn't really press on that whole intermittent fasting thing of 18 hours or 16 hours. And it's very tough to count all this and keep track of all this. If I have to just give you some guidelines to follow right now, I would say start your day not having carbohydrates. I mean, that is the biggest mistake we all make. It was a myth which was propagated by American cereal companies that, you know, breakfast is the important meal of the day, have cereal, have everything. You've just woken up from sleep. You were not doing anything all night. So you don't need to have carbohydrates for breakfast. So I would say just have protein and, you know, fat. That will keep you full. That will not immediately shoot up your insulin level, which will again crash your sugars. It will make you feel more hungry throughout the day. So definitely, I would say if you have OTs, you know, like my mentor induces cases at 7, so I have to get up at 5:30. I obviously cannot cook a meal or ask anyone in my house to cook a meal. So just take a handful of almonds, pista, something like that, have it in between cases. I always have like 2 scoops of whey in a bottle with me in my bag. So I just add water and drink that, whatever. Because honestly, right from our schools to our hospitals, the food that we get is really bad. A lot of times I walk into the break room and it's just samosa and a fruity, and I'm like, what the hell am I going to do here with my pre-diabetes and everything before the age of 30, right? So definitely carry your own food sometimes whenever you can.
Okay. So
and yeah,
there are a lot of questions regarding very specific diets, mainly keto diets or gluten-free diets or intermittent fasting. Are they myths or are they actually useful? Is there something we can inculcate from there in our daily life?
so fasting works for some people, doesn't work for some. Some people have to eat regularly. Some people will lose more weight if they take a period of time when they're purposely not eating, sometimes even 24-hour fast once or twice a week. Figure out what works for you. The next thing about gluten-free is I go gluten-free, and I tell everybody to go gluten-free. This again was a fad initially when, you know, the whole American thing, but celiac disease actually is only 1% of the population. However, there are more things in gluten, like there's another protein called gliadin, which is a peptide in gluten, that causes inflammation in the gut in general. So a lot of times, like Sir said, you can't absorb the food that you are eating if there's already gluten in your body. So I have patients with, you know, like spondylonegative arthritis and everything. I tell them to go gluten-free, and 10-15 days they can see the change. I have patients with osteoporosis. They drink milk, they do whatever. I give them as much calcium, but the Z-score doesn't go up. Because, you know, first thing, they don't eat gluten. Second thing is they don't exercise. So it all goes hand in hand. You don't have to only rely on bisphosphonates and you know, teriparatide or denosumab or any of those things, because as we all know, Wolff's law, the bone will respond to the, you know, the stresses that you put on it. So if you're not putting any stresses in your bone, how are you going to get it stronger? So I tell even 85-year-olds, go to the gym. Why not?
Dr. Santosh, kindly let us know your view on it, because you are a person with a very high stamina. So
First, you have to decide what you want to achieve. What is your goal? Going to the gym, there are 2 criteria. Either you have to do the body configuration or you have to reduce the weight. Weight reduction is a different goal in which you have to achieve a simple rule. How much the calorie body needs, you have to reduce your daily need of the calories. That might be fat, protein, fiber or carbs. Out of which 60% are protein, 20% carbohydrates and fiber, and 20% is simple fats, which will maintain adequate energy to your body and maintain strength of your body. Second important point is strength training. So if you are starting from the basic, you should go step by step, increasing your body resistance and body level of activity, and you can start consuming more and more amount of the proteins. Ideally, those who have got the weight loss, they need their weight of the body. Suppose I got 70 kg weight, then I need a 70 gram of proteins daily. But those who need to develop their body configurations, they need, I think, 1.5 times more than the routine requirement. That means 100 gram plus proteins they are needed. But you should take care properly that your body should able to digest all kind of proteins. So try to consume the natural proteins. You can use the protein shakes, protein powders, or various kind of available, but you should restrict a little for them. Try to consume the natural proteins. Try to consume the at least 4 to 5 liters water minimum daily, so that your body will maintain the balance of it. And if your goal is to reduce the weight, then you should have strict control on your diet, properly excellent protein diet, less carbs and less fats. It will help to achieve the weight loss also, and slowly once you achieve a weight loss, then you can start the body configuration. Body configuration is to achieve your muscle mass, a higher strength of your body. For the strength, sports activities like triathlon, swimming, running, cycling, you can start these once your strength is developed.
Dr. Sidney, you being a nutritionist,
Yeah.
a person like me who always has difficulty gaining muscle, skinny in general,
Yeah.
having 60 grams, 80 grams, 100 grams of protein daily becomes a big task. So how would you guide somebody like me?
Yeah, so when we have a skinny person who wants to pull up muscles, I first tell them that go progressive loading on your workouts and add up at least 10 grams of protein every month. The reason is that there are a lot of absorption, because the person who is skinny in his previous gymming time, he has not had that much of protein. So his gut is not that much ready for taking up so much of protein at one time. So what happens is, over the period of time, when he keeps loading himself with proper weights, he kind of gets adaptive and absorptive to all this protein. I would like to add something on the nutrient timing, if you are like a marathon runner or something, carbs is your friend, basically, because you require a lot of carbs to recover from that so much of stamina you need it. And if you are a gymmer, protein is your friend. And you require carbs when you are a gymmer just for recovery and to replenish your glycogen stores for the next day workout. So I have seen a lot of gymmers, they see other people like, tu bahut carb kha raha hai, to main bhi khata hu. But your goals are different. So you need to first actually see, as sir said, that what's your goal actually. You want to kind of become a good runner, or you want to lift heavy and become a kind of, put on muscles. And you need to time you need to have a tab of what you do. You have to progressively load yourself and have a proper tab every month.
Okay. So, as a whole, if I ask you, quite a few of our bosses follow intermittent fasting. What are your views on that?
I think intermittent fasting works a lot for many people, and I have seen many of them are doing the 16 into 8.
How would you divide the work hours? How would you divide your eating hours and your...
So I usually, if I would say, for a normal, like a average be orthopods, we can start the day with a fast, and then we can directly have a first meal at 12 o'clock. Okay, 12 o'clock, and then second one at 2 o'clock, then directly at around 6 o'clock, and then 8 o'clock. Okay, so we can have 4 meals, small meals, and after 8, and from the next day 12 o'clock, we can have liquids, we can have salads, but nothing which strikes and has calories.
So you don't believe in the very strict intermittent fasting of just 6 hours of eating or just 8 hours of eating?
So initially we can start with 12 is to 12, and then move on to 16 into 8.
And the bare minimum should be 12, or the bare minimum should
12.
be 16?
I think 12 is
12
quite
is a
good.
good
12,
diet
I have
to
seen people getting good results with 12 into 12.
12 into 12.
Yeah, 12.
Also, there is a myth on just 2 meals a day.
I think so. You're talking about Dikshit diet. Yeah,
exactly.
though Dikshit diet works best in people who are a little bit pre-diabetic or diabetic. But what sir said regarding the calorie count, that your calorie, the total day calorie intake and the expenditure matters more than the number of meals you take. So if I take a certain amount of like 2000 calories in 2 meals, or if I take 500 calories in 4 meals, it's the same thing. Only the thing is that in diabetics, the insulin resistance and all these things matter, but over the period of time, the consistency and the things matter the more.
So we have got an opinion from our senior orthopedic surgeons who are consistent with their way of life. For us who are budding orthopedic surgeons, I'd like to call Dr. Murthy on stage to give us a parting message and a take-home message as well.
having heard our eminent panelists, dear friends, it is an amazing journey carried out by each one of them. So the take-home message is very, very clear. How many of us have access to the gym? What are our daily routines? And how do we go about making ourselves physically fit and mentally strong? Take-home message is very clear. 3 to 4 very, very simple points. Number 1, self-discipline. Swayam Shistapana. That is the most important point I want to stress. The moment you get that self-discipline in your routine, you will know what you want to achieve and how you are going to achieve it. Number 2, time management. And this is very, very important, dear friends. All of us work 24/7. Phones are on, operation theatres, emergencies. But we have to manage our time. Just see this gentleman, Dr. Santosh, who gets up at 3 a.m. in the morning, practices his marathons. Dr. Yuvraj does his weight training way into the night. This gentleman, despite his very busy schedule, has got a very, very strict regime and diet in Dombivli. Having said that, time management. That's number 2. Set goals with your limitations. Set goals with your physical limitations. Don't set very, very high goals. Set simple goals. Take it one step at a time. Be passionate about it. One step at a time. Having said all this, we have New Year coming in. So here's the entire team of fitness wishing you a very happy New Year 2023. And let our New Year resolutions go past March 23. Thank you so much, WIROC, and thank you, dear sparse crowd, for this very, very patient listening. Thank you. God bless you.
If anybody has any questions, we'd be
You are
happy to
welcome.
answer them.
It was really amazing session. Actually, this is the only dream I could not achieve so far as compared to my age and my qualifications in academics. And I'm going to take it definitely. I don't want to promise anybody. First of all, self-discipline. I would like to request Dr. Krishnamurthi sir to answer a question. If we mean yoga, what is the duration that we should start to do a yoga, and why it has been stressed to do yoga only in the morning? Is there any scientific reason behind it?
Yeah, at the outset, let me tell you that I've not been trained into do anything. These are just certain practices. A few people in the society who are ardent yoga practitioners, they just realize that hello, Dr. Saab is more interested in core strength. So let us teach him a few things. In fact, I tell most of my back pain patients and disc patients, do back exercises which are shown in the charts. The simple reason being to develop the strength of your core muscles. So even in future, if you do develop a small disc bulge or a protrusion, believe me, the protrusion will go back simply because, and you'll return to normal activities because your core strength is good. Why yoga in the morning? I get up at 4:15 a.m. in the morning every day, rain or sun. I'm a very, very early to bed, early to rise, healthy, wealthy, wise person. So why early morning? Now the gentleman spoke about fasting. The moment you do something at that stage, I'm not talking about Brahma Muhurta, 3 te 6 la uthaila paije. That is up to you, whether you consider 4:15 or 4:30. The simple reason being, it's a very, very personal take. The mind is absolutely empty, ready to receive. And that is very, very important. The mind and the body should be ready to receive. So that is the reason for doing it early in the morning. You are welcome. There are 84,000 asanas to practice. It is up to each one of us to see which are easy, check our limitations, and do simple practices. Sukhasana. Just sit cross-legged and do nothing. Just sit. They say no. सारा ध्यान नासिकों के द्वारों पर, सारा ध्यान नासिकों के द्वारों पर. Just sit and breathe. Just concentrate on breathing. This is where we all have to start actually. You slowly realize that your pulse rate is just dropping. Then the next step of, trying to rekindle your chakras from Mooladhara to Sahasra. Those are later steps. But the answer to the question is very simple. The mind is empty and the body is ready to receive.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
An advice from the one who's talking about nutrition. What oils we should avoid in our cooking? And are seed oils really bad?
Sir, can you be a little bit audible?
What oils should be used in cooking?
Okay.
And what are the deleterious effects of seed oils?
Okay, I'm an avid user of ghee. Okay, the ghee is something which is very much advised in Ayurveda also, and the refined ghees I kind of avoid. Ghee is something which helps in the absorption of all the fat-soluble vitamins, and it helps a lot in keeping ourselves very full. It also helps in giving us the energy and keeps us kind of away from a lot of diseases. And I feel so if you want to add up a little bit oils in your thing, then coconut oil is something which I would say. Coconut oil and ghee is my first take, but I'm not against refined oil because many people tell me कि sir आपने घी और वो बोला बहुत महंगा पड़ता है. So I tell them use refined oils, but then don't make it a habit. Try to also incorporate coconut oil and ghee, which is a cow ghee, not the vanaspati ghee. And other oils which I would say that I would like to avoid them. Olive oil is something which I would not tell people to have because it's something which is not so much practical. 1 or 2 months people will start having that and again they'll stop it. So I tell always people that what you can do for a long run and which is readily available. There are so many dairies which make their own ghee and it is really wonderful. So for my take would be ghee and coconut oil.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I'd like to add to this, sir. It's a very, very good question, actually. Seed oils, yes, as I was mentioning earlier, they do increase inflammation in your gut and in your stomach. So generally, as Dr. Sidney said, animal sources of fat are much better for the human body than plant sources of fat. So having ghee, butter, it comes from the cow, it's much better.
With that, we end our session. Oh, we have one more question.
Yes, sir.
It was a very fantastic session.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Three things I would like to elaborate here. I am 58-year-old and I am doing regular gymming for last 6-7 years. I made gym my home after COVID because in COVID session the gym was closed for around 1 year. So we got frustrated. The moment markets opened, we purchased all the necessary equipment.
Impressive, sir. Impressive.
According to our space in my home. And me and my wife both started doing regular workout. And I assure you, the fitness is completely evidence-based science. It is evidence-based. Initially, I thought it is all foolish things. But the day by day, I entered in this deeply and studied it. It is completely evidence-based. You fix your target, you fix your motto, you will achieve. The things Dr. Murthy said, dedication, consistency is must. And self-discipline, it is very important. But I am sorry to say, all orthopods are busy in learning surgery and all those things. But nobody is here for own health. We are here for our own health.
Rightly, sir.
The fitness of surgeon is very important.
Rightly.
Thank you, sir.
So people look up to us and many people say कि sir आप लोग fit रहते हो ना तो हमको inspiration मिलता है. So I always tell all the orthopods like the first step is make yourself and you need not tell anyone to get fit. They will look at you and they will start doing it.
Correct.
So we have to lead by example. I mean, there's a joke I can tell you that, one doctor said that I told my patient he needs to, eat a much healthier lifestyle, stop eating junk, stop doing everything. And 30 minutes later, we both met inside KFC. Like, that's it happens, right?
I made a rule. You fix one day the cheat day. Don't torture your body. If you want to eat ice cream, you want to have 2 packs of whiskey, fix it on only one day and calculate your calorie. Either you on the same day burn that calorie before taking that extra meal, or next day you increase your exercise to burn out all those extra calories.
Sir, anything you want
Please
to
be honest with your
Agreed,
body.
sir. There are no
Be
bad
honest.
foods, only bad diets.
Yes.
Yes. And sir, I'm pretty sure if we do your DEXA, it will be +4, +5, because I mean, you go to the gym, so I wouldn't be surprised.
To achieve something in your orthopedic practice or in your fitness goal, you need 4 important points, as Krishnamurthi sir has already told. Is the most important is the consistency, which we lack. Hard work, regularly you coming to the gym or workouts, your nutrition, and you have to wait, because results is not going to come in a period of 1 month or 2 months. If you start going to the gym, you will get a result after 1 year. You will definitely see that there is a huge change in your strength training. That means your even cardio is improved, your heart rate is improved. Besides, in the zone 1, you started running in the zone 2 and zone 3. That means you have to control your heart rate. In any sports, whichever the running, swimming or cycling, the most important thing is on your heart rate only. You have to maintain your heart rate in zone 2. You should not increase your heart rate at any level of activity more than 130. That means 100 to 130, max 140. That is the way you can able to run any distance. That's why you can able to run a 90-kilometer distance of the Comrades Marathon, which is conducted in South Africa, Durban, which is from the sea level to the 11,000 feet. That is a consistent. That is very, very difficult. The toughest marathon in the world. But for need you have to huge practice for that, for long practice for at least 1 year. Same as in Ironman, which is a huge distance. Whatever who consumes daily is 2,500 calories, something around that. But for such a full Ironman distance, you should prepare your body for a long distance or long endurance of 16 hours. And on the day of this race, you are consuming 4 times to 5 times of your regular calories. Some athletes burn around 12,000 to 18,000 calories in a day. So you have to be prepared your body. So you have to divide your cycling, running and various training activities, and slowly you can achieve to that dream. But for that, same I'm telling the same thing is your consistency, your hard work, your devotions. The same which rule we apply in our orthopedic practice.
Yeah. And always, I mean, never be comfortable with mediocre results. I mean, right now, even when we see our patients, they say diabetes, hypertension, like, हाँ ठीक है, सबको होता है beyond a certain point, but that's not the case. I mean, I was taking telmisartan when I was 29 years old, but just by doing the things that I myself have spoken about today, in 4 months, I haven't taken a single antihypertensive and my BP is perfect. So it's not about giving 100% every day. You have to give 80%, but you have to give it every day. You know, whether it's conference, whether it's anything.
So we are gradually running out of time. Yeah. Okay. On that note, sir, you are an inspiration, even you as well, sir.
I used to go for all the orthopedic conferences, MISAPCon, ISCon, IOCon, MOCon, to encourage all my orthopods to do some kind of level of activity for a good health and good fitness. But I've seen last 6 years I am doing all these things, and even the people have collected my mobile number or my email or from the net or something else, and they personally called up me. I found at least 10% orthopods have changed their lifestyles and improved their health and fitness level.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having given us a patient listening from the heart. Thank you again.